Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the EGL11 Winter Championships. My name is Chewy, having an interview with Mr. Momo here. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. Unfortunately, I've just gone out of the tournament at 9th to 12th. We lost to Enigma and Epsilon in the winning bracket, Enigma in the loser bracket. But we're a pick up the last 2 days, so we can't really expect too much. But we've done all right, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you do play for Aware, as you can see on the top. Completely different roster to what you usually play with. What's it been like adapting to a completely new team and their new game style?
We've not really adapted. We've just kind of tried to wing it as much as possible. They needed a player. I was free this weekend, so I said I'd come down and help them. I love attending EGLs. It was a different location.
Yeah.
But it was really hard because they have like a really set anchor, which is dominate, and that's what I do for my team. So we were kind of like, right, we don't have a slayer. So I've tried to slay as best I can, and unfortunately not been as good as, you know, someone who would do that role normally. But we gave it our best, and I feel it could have gone either way. But literally, we've lost pretty much every hard point, and it's down to teamwork. It literally is, and we've won. You know, the teams that we've lost to, we've won S&Ds like 6-0, CTS like 3-0. And quite comfortably, but it's just our hard point's been really, really weak.
I mean, obviously you guys placed well when you were with Horizon, of course, the same roster as Aware now, but just under a different organisation. You placed third at that event, and then to come to EGL11 to place 9th to 12th, obviously a bit disappointing for you to drop down there, but at the same time, you're not with your usual squad. So everybody at home goes, how did Momo play so far away from what before? This is a completely different squad. So what do you feel about that, obviously, because you're going to be going back to your old squad again? Are you going to be happy to go back to them?
I literally, I mean, sometimes at the end of an EGL, even if I finish third, I'm really disappointed. I wanted second, I wanted first. And it's no disrespect to my team, obviously, that I'm teaming with this event, but I'm focused on my team, focused on Aware, and that's what I want to look into the future. We've got ESWC in a couple of days' time, so I'm focused on that. And I've had a good time. I've come down and meet a load of new people. Hopefully I'll be doing some casting a little bit later as well.
Yeah.
But I always enjoy it, and I'm not too disappointed, to be honest.
No, that's good. It's always good fun at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, these EGL events, they are always great fun. I've talked about it a lot on the stream so far, about you can just come and have a good laugh. You know, obviously you want to take it seriously and get a top placement, but, you know, as I keep saying, we're just playing a video game at the end of the day, and it's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
You've got to have fun, You can't play a lot of people like tweet and say, I hate this game, I don't like this game. If you're not having fun whilst competing, there's no point doing it. People say they just play for the money and stuff like that. You've got to enjoy what you're doing, as well as, you know, hopefully winning money as well. Yeah,
well, I mean, for a lot of people, this is just a hobby. I mean, you know, you're very lucky yourself. You're in one of the top teams and things. People get these big invites. Of course, you guys went to Gfinity only a couple of weekends ago. But, you know, some people don't get those big opportunities, and just funding for them is such an important part. Just to be able to get somebody, you know, an organisation to pay for their hotels is an important part of it, and so that they can enjoy it more. Because, you know, we've got to admit, a lot of the community isn't of that age where they can afford full-time jobs and really, you know, get into the scene and afford to pay for it all themselves. So it's so great to see organisations coming and supporting them.
Tech has been amazing, really. I mean, they dropped all kind of teams, and then not dropped all. I don't know what happened, and then suddenly they had like 3 teams come in this event.
Exactly.
You know, they were pickup teams. They didn't mind funding. They didn't mind helping out teams. And I've got to say a huge shout out to Total Esports Circuit, or Tech as most people know them. My teammates Mello, Dom, and Robs, of course. We were actually, you know, trialing Robs for a good while, and they've all played phenomenally well. And I wish I could have helped them get a better placement, but it's not the way it worked. The bracket was a bit, I don't know what happened with the bracket, but losing to Epsilon and Enigma, which are 2, you know, top 8 teams, is tough, but onwards and upwards, and on to Ghost with a positive attitude, hopefully. Good,
and that's the thing, you know, we are right at the end of the season now. This is the last event in the UK, I believe, for Black Ops 2. There may be some small little things going on, but especially for major events, what you would class, this is the end of it. So this is going to be the final time we see Black Ops 2 in the UK. Going into Ghost with your squad, obviously, have you had a bit of experience? Have you played Ghost yet? Have you
played
had
a little bit?
So what do you feel about that game? How is your squad going to adapt to it? Obviously, we don't know the full everything yet. We don't know the full rule set, but are you excited for it?
I'm really excited, and a lot of you guys that have played for a numerous amount of years will know that it was predominantly 2 ARs, 2 SMGs. This game threw a whole new aspect on it. People saw like the Americans infuse that kind of thing, running around with 3 SMGs. Now, from what I've seen, obviously, there is things that, like, stock changed the whole game of Black Ops 2, and people need to understand, like, we didn't even use that at the start of events, so it's going into Ghost, and there'll be events like Columbus, I-Series, EGL, all these things that are coming up, and you've got to adapt really quickly. But with the players that I have in my team, I'm confident that, you know, we've got LAN winners in my team, we've got people who are obviously up and coming, like Pete and Kyle have been, you know, a year ago, like myself, a year ago, we were way back, and we've kind of worked our way up, and McGee's obviously very experienced in what he's done, so hopefully we'll go into it strong, and I have so much faith in my team, it's ridiculous, but I go into every event thinking we can win it, and one day hopefully we will.
Well, I've seen Kyle, I saw the Epsilon versus TCM game earlier on, and unfortunately TCM did lose that 3-1 because Epsilon just really good. They got that hype factor about them, the dinge factor as they may call it. But they are crazy. But Kyle, again, has fitted into the squad quite well. He was a last-minute pickup, of course, because Rich unfortunately couldn't make it down here. But Kyle has really impressed with that squad. He's gelled well with them, and he obviously gels well with you guys. And sometimes I feel that Kyle can almost be the guy who's not underrated, but he's a bit of a quiet one sometimes because obviously you've got PT who just goes absolutely ham on everybody virtually. But what do you feel about, especially like the rest of your teammates going into goes and how they perform throughout the season? Because you must have so much confidence in them.
I mean, PE is renowned for his looking at the end of the scoreboard and going, wow, look at PE. It's a whole different story in game. Kyle has to do the dirty work. Kyle has to be
the TP role.
Yeah, basically he has to sit on a flag and wait for 2 minutes until he gets that opportunity to pull it. While PT can kill 10 people in that time.
Yes.
But it's very hard to kind of say who's the best in the team. I mean, we all work well together. We'd like to think we're all kind of the same caliber. Pete's good at this. McGee, obviously, back in the day, he was known as King McGee. He literally sat in one spot, and he didn't move that whole spot. And maybe that'll come back in COD Ghost, so we don't know. And but we're all good at what we do, and we all gel well together. I think it's really been kind of different for myself because I've stuck with this team now for, I think, like 5-6 events.
Yeah, for sure.
And probably previous 20 events, I've never stuck as a team. I mean, I've teamed with McGee, Kyle, for such a long time now. I think Kyle, it's like 6-7 events in a row now.
Awesome. So thinking ahead into the future, obviously we've got Ghost and stuff, but maybe on a more like not specific point, but just about esports alone. Obviously we've seen recently, I asked Tommy about this yesterday, I believe it was, and we've seen obviously League of Legends going to the Staples Center and places like that and really expanding. And obviously this year with Black Ops 2, esports has just absolutely blown up, and it has really been something that's gone absolutely huge. Simple question, I know it's going to be a difficult one to ask, sir. Where could we see and where would you like to see Call of Duty esports in about 5 years' time, say?
5 years' time is a long time.
Yeah.
In a year, we've seen how much it's progressed and grown. 5 years' time, hopefully there'll be, these events like Gfinity, EGL, MLG, they'll have expanded, they'll have grown. Hopefully we'll see teams like 100, 150 teams attending. But it's just onwards and upwards. And I think it could, you see things like COD Champs, $1 million tournaments, just more and more of these. And I think with the personalities in the community, the obvious ones is people who have obviously a lot of subscribers, a lot of Twitter followers, Nadeshot, Kataga, that kind of thing. When people are actually loyal fans of that person or that team, it boosts it so much. That this is the first EGL when I was watching Infuse, and there were actually fans here, and they were cheering them on. I was like, I've never seen that in EGL. There's people who like to come and spectate maybe, but to be a supporter is, to have that support is great. And
it's definitely something new, isn't it?
Yeah, but in 5 years' time, bigger, better tournaments, and more prize money. But I can see it hopefully going, worldwide as it is now. But
yeah. I mean, of course, again, it depends on the developer support. We've had such great developer support in Black Ops 2, so it does depend on that as well. But final question I'm going to ask you is, you've got your funding and stuff like that. You're with Aware, you're with an organisation. For a lot of these teams here, we've obviously got, I think, 52 teams attending EGL. Not all of them are going to have funding. Some of them have got to fund their way there. For people who are looking to get to the stage you are, obviously you've got a lot of experience within the community. If they want to try and get that funding, get to LAN and stuff like that, what do they need to do?
It's all performance-based. I mean, you're going to get the funding through either your Twitter followers and YouTube, which some people do. But other things like just performance and placements. My first event I placed like top 48, then I placed top 16, then it was 6th, 5th, and I was progressively getting better and better. And that was with the team. I was swapping teams, but I was kind of moving up. And then when we started hitting like top 6 and top 5 and stuff like that, we could apply for these things. But it is expensive. London's an expensive place, but you've just got to keep playing, keep grinding the game. Stick as a team. That's that's the biggest advice that I'd give, because sticking as a team, you just gain that chemistry, which we've not got this event, and that's because we're obviously a brand new team. But stick as a team, get those placements, and obviously stay motivated. Cool. All right then, guys, that's going to be it from me and Momo here. I think we're going to be passing over to EGL Central, which is Dave, joined